Good evening, everybody. Choices. The narrow way. The path less chosen. When you choose Jesus, you have chosen what the Bible describes as the narrow way, which means it's not the easy way. It's the uncomfortable way. It's the path that no one else wants to be on. Psalm 27 verse 4 says this: I'm asking God for one thing. Only one thing. I want you to imagine if you were given the opportunity, or if God said to you, you can ask me for one thing, and then you can never ask me for anything ever again. What would that one thing be for you? This is what David says. I'm asking God for one thing, only one thing. To live with Him in His house my whole life long. I'll contemplate His beauty. I'll study at His feet. One thing, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, no matter what. No matter what happens to the church, no matter what happens to me, no matter what happens outside, I will stay on the narrow path. We don't know the future, but we do know the one who holds the future. And the challenge is for us to keep our hearts on fire with love for Him. Keep your heart on fire with love for Him. If you think of a fire, once it's lit, you can't leave it. We have a fireplace at home, and it's amazing in winter. But there's some times where we forget about it, and you look, and the fire's gone out. The fire's no longer burning. Why? We never kept it on fire. We let it go out. Keep your heart on fire with love for Him. Refuse to allow your love for Jesus to grow cold. It is a decision. It's not about what you know. As Christians, sometimes we want to get filled with knowledge, which isn't a bad thing, especially when studying the Word. However, it's not about what you know that will get you into heaven. It's about who you know that will get you into heaven. I want to ask you a question. Do you use God, or do you know God? We can only do one or the other as Christians. Christians either use God or they know God. They use Him to get healing. They use Him to get blessing. They use Him to feel nice. They use Him to get a husband or a wife. They use Him to get a job. They use Him to feel better about themselves. They use them because their life is a mess. Or you know Him. You know Him. Regardless of your bank accounts, regardless of your marital status, regardless of your job, regardless of what people say about you or to you, regardless of how many people stand with you or against you, you know Him. You don't use Him. God is not only powerful enough to help you, but He loves you enough to do so. God doesn't use us. He doesn't need us to worship Him. He doesn't need us to give our money to Him. He doesn't need us to devote ourselves to Him. He loves us so much, and that's why He wants us to do it. It is out of love. It is out of a relationship. Psalm 18 verse 1 in the Message says, I love you, God. You make me strong. I love you, God. You make me strong. And I loved how Lwando brought up the verse that actually says, it is no longer I who lives, but Christ who lives in me. So I love you, God. You make me strong because you are the one living now inside of me. This week, I was working on the media for this weekend, and one of the things we did was we created a new pre-service. So if you're here before the service, take a look at the screen and give us the credit. No, I'm joking. But we were doing a new pre-service, and we were getting footage from everywhere. Eventually, I had gotten to 15 minutes. I had another 15 minutes worth of footage to do, and we had run out of footage. So we were going back into the archives, looking through Google Drives. That's why Kayla, if you saw her status of back in the day, that's where it came from. But we were putting together footage, and honestly, after doing the pre-service, I had such a love for our church because I was just reminded of the years that we've been through together, the things that we've done. We have footage from the old building. We have footage from this building where there was sand in the middle because we were building, but we were still here doing things. We have footage of now at just the past album recording when we were jumping to Crossfire. So there's a whole lot of footage, and I honestly just love doing it because my love for our church actually was just reignited. The fire was relit and it burns. And I recently went to, we have a family friend, and he's taken on a mentorship role in my life, and he will often speak about business, things like that. But the one day he said to me, and I nearly fell off my chair. I tried to act composed, but I was like, oh! He said to me, "You don't have to work at the church." And I was like, sorry, what? Pastor's kid, yeah? Sorry, what? And I was like, what he's going against my parents, this is horrible, what is happening? But after that, I actually was grateful that he said that to me, because he made me realize the reason I'm here. I'm not here because I have to be here. I'm not here because my parents want me to be here. I'm not here because I don't have anywhere else to go. I'm here because I have made a decision to be here. And there may be other opportunities, there may be other places, there may be other things, but I am here because I want to be here. And that question that he posed to me didn't make me go, oh yeah, I don't have to be at the church. I could actually get a job somewhere else, It didn't do that. It made me more steadfast in my decision. It made me realize why I'm here. I'm not here just because. I'm here because I have decided to be here. One thing, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, no matter what. And then in December last year, I had the privilege of going to friends of ours. They have their own church, and they asked me to be a part of their carol service. And so I went through, and it was lovely. Their carol service was lovely. But watching them, and they're a church family. They have a whole setup going. They have a whole family that side, and it was beautiful to watch, because sometimes you're always on the inside, so you don't really get to see or watch or observe a church family from that perspective. But being there just made me even more grateful for our church. It made me even more grateful for this house. It made me even more grateful for the family that we have. And we're not perfect. Many of us have fought. We have funny stories. I mean, if you sit down with a couple of people who've been in the church for a while, you'll be laughing in a matter of minutes because of the stories that have taken place everywhere, in the parking lot, in the old building, in the new building, everywhere. But it just made my love for this church greater, and my love for Jesus in this house, because I see him. I see him as we look over the years of footage. I see how he's blessed us, how he's kept us, how he's remained faithful, how even when it looked like we were defeated, he brought another miracle, or he worked out another thing. And also this week, doing the media, I was redoing the album intro, which you'll see on Sunday nights. And I was looking through the Passion of the Christ, the film, The Passion of the Christ, for specific footage. And I happened to really get captivated by the scene where Jesus is really battling to carry the cross. In fact, he cannot carry the cross anymore. He physically cannot, and he drops to the ground. And the Roman soldiers spot Simon, and he's standing with his daughter, completely horrified by the sight of Jesus, and still turns his daughter away so that she doesn't have to see. And the soldiers point at him and say, help him. And he doesn't want to. He says no, and they forcefully make him help Jesus carry the cross. And at first you can see he's completely repulsed. He doesn't want to be there. This is horrible, like literally horrible. And as he carries the cross with Jesus, Jesus says nothing to him. He just looks at him. And the impact that he has on Simon, and this is just a film, but the way they captured it, the impact that he had on Simon was so great that at one point, the guards are mocking Jesus and beating him, and Simon physically gets angry and runs and screams and tells them to stop. This is a man who just a few minutes ago didn't want to help. He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to have anything to do with Jesus. And now Jesus has had such an impact on him that he's willing to get undignified. He's willing to stand up to an authority that could possibly punish him. And he can't. He stops. And he then, you see at one point, him and Jesus both look up to Golgotha. But both of them have this fervency in their eyes, like, we're going to get there. Jesus is saying, I'm going to get there, I'm going to die on that cross because I need to shed my blood for my children. And Simon is going, I'm going to get you. It's terrible. I'm going to get you to your death. But that's not, he's saying to him, we're going to do this together. The victory in both of their eyes. And then at one point as well, Jesus falls on the ground and a woman walks towards him. And the guards are busy. It's chaos just everywhere. And she gets a moment alone with Jesus where she kneels in front of him, and Jesus looks at her and he is just completely broken. I'm getting emotional just because of his face. He's completely broken. He's literally at the end of himself. He cannot anymore. And she takes off her shawl and offers it to him. And he wipes his face in her shawl, and his blood goes all over this white shawl. And then she offers him some water, and you can just see the gratitude in his eyes in that moment for her love for him. And you know, how often does Jesus get beaten up by this world? Even today. How often does he look at the world that he died for, the world that he gave everything for, and he gets beaten up? And can we be that woman who will come to Jesus in the chaos of this world and offer our shawl, and offer him a drink of water, and offer him our love? Not because we want a job, not because we want a husband, not because we want anything, just because we love him and our heart breaks for him and we want him. We don't want what he can give us. We want him. We want to help him. We want to look up at the cross and go, I'm going to get you there. I'm going to help you be victorious. I'm going to help you defeat the enemy, whatever I have to do. And there is a beautiful, I'm not sure what it is exactly. It's called the Litany of Humility. I think it was written by a pope or someone. That's terrible recognition, but you can go Google it. But it says this, and I was completely blown away when I heard this. I'm going to read it. It says this: "O Jesus, meek and mild of heart, hear me. From the desire of being esteemed, deliver me, Jesus." Take it away. From the desire of being loved, deliver me, Jesus. From the desire of being honored, deliver me. From the desire of being praised, from the desire of being preferred to others, deliver me. From the desire of being consulted, deliver me. From the desire of being approved, deliver me. From the fear of being humiliated, deliver me. From the fear of being despised, from the fear of suffering rebukes, from the fear of being forgotten, deliver me, Jesus. From the fear of being ridiculed, from the fear of being wronged, from the fear of being suspected, that others may be loved more than I. Jesus, grant me the grace to desire it. That others may be esteemed more than I. That in the opinion of the world, others may increase and I may decrease. That others may be chosen and I set aside. That others may be praised and I unnoticed. That others may become holier than I, provided that I become as holy as I should. Jesus, grant me the desire. Grant me the grace to desire it.